Well, good morning, and it is Friday morning here in the UK if you are joining me live. And my name is Helen Jennings, and I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in Northamptonshire, fairly centrally in the UK. And it is a warm one this morning, ladies. So if you see me gradually getting smaller, it's because I'm melting. But let me introduce myself. Do come on and say hello if you are joining us. Do let me know that sound and everything is all okay. Um, but yes, so do come and join me while I introduce myself. So this is who I am. As I say, my name is Helen Jennings, and you can find me at www.loveaduckie.co.uk, and that is my website where you will find um, sorry, I just had a message pop up that distracts me. You will find all things Morning Div. You'll find all things Ducky over on my website, including classes and um, inspiration and links to shops and all of those sorts of things. So do go and head over there and check that out. Let me just let you know about some upcoming classes and things that are coming up. So we have a memory project class next week using the Abigail Rose suite. So do come and join me for that. We do have a stamper stack that has had to be rescheduled once more because COVID is getting in the way still. We had to reschedule it first because I'd got family members with COVID, and now half of the class that were coming along have tested positive for COVID. So there is a Wild and Sweet stamper stack that is coming up towards the end of the month, 19th of July. But meanwhile, we have the ones that were already scheduled. So there is an Elephant Parade stamper stack scheduled for the 27th of July. Do come and join me for that. So a stamper stack, we make 6 cards, 2 each of 3 different designs. And I will come back to stamp stacks in a minute. We've also got one of our stamp camps coming up with the Creativity Abounds team. These have become quite a regular feature in the calendar. You order the suite from me and you get a pack of 13 make and take kits along with video links for all of those and the tutorial bundle that goes with it. And in addition, you get added in to a exclusive Facebook group where you get to see 13 more projects. So 26 projects for free just for buying the bundle, buying the suite from me. So it's good value. This time it is actually the suite plus a bolt of ribbon, and because you'll need that for your projects. But do check that out. Carrying on in July, I have got a crafternoon tea. So if you're here locally in Northamptonshire, next Saturday, so not tomorrow, but a week tomorrow, I've got a crafternoon tea where you can come along and have a go at some easy maker takes, have a look at some of the new products and things that are around. Come and see some samples, come and check out the kits, come and buy cards. You don't necessarily have to be a crafter to come along, so bring neighbours, bring friends. And we'll obviously have refreshments and there will be a raffle. So do come along to that. We've got our Christmas in July. That is actually on a Friday, but it's an all-day event at the end of July, 29th of July. Come and start your Christmas card making with us. Let's get festive in this roaring temperatures, why not? And I said I'd come back to stamper stacks because I am going to actually add in an evening stamper stack class. So it is going to be a repeat of the Elephant Parade stamper stack class, but it is just going to run in the evening rather than in the afternoon. So for any of you that would love to come and craft with me but are working during the day, come and join me for an evening stamper stack class. So those are the things that are coming up in July. I have been very busy this week, and I have been I have been, sorry, fiddling with buttons, uploading all the classes and events as they stand at this moment up onto my website. So you will find everything on there between now and the end of the year. So lots of Christmassy things. There's our autumn retreat. There's a whole new class, if you like, going up. It's going to be a product-based kit class that you come along and make around about sort of 5 different projects with the little kits that you're provided with, and any other extra bits you want. You have the option to buy the stamp sets and things that go with it, or come and use mine. And again, you can have those in the post, but obviously you would need to purchase the stamp sets and things in order to do that. So check those out. Those are, as I say, all up on my website. It is, of course, Sale-a-Bration. So make sure you get the most from Sale-a-Bration this time round. So for the whole of July and the whole of August, we do have Sale-a-Bration, and Sale-a-Bration is Stampin' Up's big promotion where you can earn free products if you shop, if you host an event of some sort, or you join the family. And we had a little bit of a look at some of those things on Monday. So if you haven't seen the brochure, do check out Monday's video to see all of the details and the things that you can, that fabulous planner and things that you can get if you join. And we are going to be playing with some more Sale-a-Bration things today. We had a play with a Sale-a-Bration stamp set on Monday, and we're going to be playing with some more Sale-a-Bration products today. So make sure that you don't miss out on that. And the other thing is that July is actually World Watercolour Month. Who knew there was such a thing? But now that we have discovered that there is such a thing, we are obviously going to make the most of it. So all things fun with watercolouring and watercolour techniques. So you'll see lots of those popping up during the month, not just with me, but obviously with other demonstrators around the world. We'll be having a bit of a focus as we celebrate watercolour during World Watercolour Month. And you have to love Stampin' Up if you are here in the UK or elsewhere in the world that spells the same as we do. You will notice that World Watercolour Month doesn't have a U in it, but they have added a U just for us to this promotion, a sort of banner, because they know we get twitchy about such things. So hurrah for Stampin' Up for giving us our U and spelling it properly. Those of you elsewhere in the world, in the States and things, may not agree with that, but for us here, it makes us twitchy when you don't spell things properly. So yeah, it is watercolour. We are watercolouring with a U here in the UK and possibly elsewhere in the world. Oh no, Emma. Emma has COVID round 3. Now that's just greedy. That is absolutely just greedy. You know, I won't say give other people a chance. Other people don't want a chance, but just leave it alone. Bless you. I hope that you're not feeling too rough, although you're obviously live from bed. It is no fun. Yeah, there's so many people with it at the moment. We definitely haven't lost it yet. Right, let's bring in our downward facing camera. Let's move my mouse and my hand out of the way. Let me bring in, show you my lovely water bottle. Look at my lovely water bottle that my daughter bought me for Mothering Sunday. A quacky water bottle. You'll approve of that, Emma. I will have a quick slurp of water, but at least it's got a nice lid on. That means if I knock it over, I'm not going to drown everything. Right, at 10 o'clock today, so you're getting a bit of a sneak peek. So if you're watching this live, in another sort of 45-50 minutes, this card is going to go live on my blog, because it is my project for the new Festive Friday challenge that will be beginning at 10 o'clock today. If you've never heard of the Festive Friday challenge, if you are anywhere in the world and you do have a blog, or you pin to Pinterest or any of those things, you can come and join in. the challenge, and it happens every sort of other week. So this one will launch today, and then it will actually run for 10 days, and then it finishes. We choose the winner, and then the next one starts. Now, looking at this card, if I asked you to guess the theme of this week's Festive Friday challenge, I think you will struggle to come up with it. It is actually Global Tiger Day that we are celebrating. But the thing about the Festive Friday challenge is that we give you a list, an inspo list of 10 things that you can choose from the list. And your project does not have to fit the theme. We choose something that is coming up, such as Global Tiger Day, which is coming up at the end of July, and we create our inspo list from that celebration. You do not have to make a card that has anything to do with that celebration. As you can see, not a tiger in sight, but instead we have a rather funky hippo. And in this particular project, I picked out frames from the list. I picked out paper piecing. I picked out stripes. I picked out some enamel dots. So you can see I've kept with the challenge, but not at all anything to do with tigers. So there's a little clue to the sets that we're going to be playing with today. We are actually going to be playing with the Hippest Hippos and the Hippo dies. Let me just bring in my celebration brochure. So these are two separate items that you can earn with £45 orders. So for one £45 order, you could order yourself a stamp set, and if you were to put in another £45 order, you can get yourself the dies that coordinate with it and add in some little extra elements as well. And we're going to be playing with both of these this morning and have a little bit of a play and see what we can come up with these really, really cute little hippos. And there's some gorgeous samples in here. You can see there that you've got a boat. That's one of the dies. You've got this sort of border piece. That's another of the dies. The dies also cut out the hippos. I've got a fly buzzing around my head. You've got a bathtub here and snorkels and goggles, an umbrella. Just really gorgeous, and the little hippos themselves are just so sweet. So let's see what we can do with these hippos. Let's bring in the stamp set. So as you can see, you've got 3 hippos here. You've got this one that just seems to be sort of saying hi or pointing somewhere, or you could be carrying something, all sorts of things. We've got little ballet hippo here, which is the one that I used on this card here. So very reminiscent of Disney's Fantasia. And then you've got this little winky hippo, little cheeky wink going on there. As she holds her flower. And then you've got these cute little sayings: love you a turn, or you really are the best, you're so hip, you're always on point. So some sort of really quite tongue-in-cheek little sentiments there. And then the dies, as I say, you've got the dies that will cut out those 3 different hippos. And then you've got things like a bathtub, you've got a boat, you've got this here that could be a funky scallop, or it could be waves. You've got little flowers and grasses and lily pads. You've got a party hat there, you've got some splashes, you've got these goggles, you've got, well, those are more sunglasses actually. You've got cool shades or glasses. Could just be a pair of specs. You've got these snorkel and the goggles here. So really fun. Lots of little fun elements to this. There's nothing serious about this stamp set at all. So let us find ourselves some oddments of basic white here, because I'm going to stamp some hippos and cut them out. So I've actually, even though I've used one of these hippos, I've not yet put them on their backings. So I'm going to take the 2 hippos that I haven't used. So the one that is holding a flower and the one that is looking like they're reaching out. Let's put our backings on. We'll peel the back off of there, peel the back off of there, line this up. And there's number one. There's little Winky Hippo. These look very cheeky. I mean, I think in real life, hippos can actually be quite aggressive, can't they? But these ones don't look at all aggressive. These are exceptionally fun. Cute little hippos. So let's put those to one side for a minute. And let's find ourselves some blocks. Let's have a look. I think we should get away with the C block one. Might come with this one. She's a little bit not quite so spread out, a little bit more contained, so she will fit on there. Right. I'm going to, she says, with great confidence, here we are, stamp with a memento ink. Thought that was a slice of pizza. It could be a slice of pizza. You are so right. Oh, there you go. I obviously wasn't hungry when I looked at that. It could very well be a slice of pizza or a hat. I'm sure it can be anything that you want it to be. So there we are. I'm not going to worry too much. That could have done with being a little bit better in the centre there, but we are going to be colouring him in. Apologies if you are wobbling. He's a little bit better. Right. So let's have a look at colouring in these hippos. I have actually got some blends here. So I know it's watercolour month. We will do some watercolouring in a bit. I thought we'd start with some blends just to show that these hippos can be coloured in more ways than one. Oh, I didn't pick a colour. Or a flower. Shall we have? Okay, those just there for now. Now, shall I go two different colour hippos? I think I will. So I've got some grey granite here. I've got some crumb cake. Let's come in with some dark crumb cake on this little hippo here. I'll come around. And we'll perhaps have a go at colouring them in two different ways, then we can decide which we like best. I'm just going to come around the edges a bit with this dark crumb cake. Let's come in with light crumb cake. We'll use some circular motions and just blend out that dark. So that you lose that harsh line around the edge. Colouring with blends isn't necessarily a sort of, just a question of colouring like you would with water-based felt tips. There is this whole blending element where the colours do sort of seep into each other. Let's come round. Around its head. And a bit of his ears just here. actually going to come in with some dark petal pink around those ears. And we'll come in up here. Again with that crumb cake. Morning, Karen. And then down the bottom here, around this side. Just going to bring this in. I'm not coming in all the way on this top here, because I'm actually going to come in with some dark petal pink around his nose, around his mouth. And I'm going to bring in some light petal pink in this centerpiece. Let's bring in a bit more crumb cake, just so he's got sort of a more of a pinky mouth shade. And then here somewhere, some light grey granite. Some dark grey granite. So let's bring in and perhaps we'll come in with our light crumb cake again. Blend that all together. Where's my dark crumb cake? Let me just bring a bit more dark crumb cake in around this edge. By this time, there's quite a lot of ink saturation on this, so it will now blend out even easier. Just working around this leg and around this arm. Okay, so we have a little sort of browny coloured hippo. Bit of a grey tummy. This one I think we're going to make a little bit more grey. I'm going to start with some dark grey granite. I haven't done much investigating into colours of hippos. I'm just guessing that they're sort of a bit greyy. I've seen them sort of in zoos and safari parks. I haven't had any really close-up encounters with them, thankfully. like all animals, as long as you're not interfering with them in their little world, I'm sure that they will not go out of their way to interfere with you in yours. They just might take a bit of exception to you, or see you as fair prey if you enter theirs. Let's give these ears a bit of pink. And again, we'll give her a bit of a pink mouth. I think we might give a bit of pink cheeks to this one. Let's just come round this outside a bit. Dark grey granite, and let's bring in. You can really experiment with these pens. You don't have to. There are no hard and fast rules. We have, of course, got all the neutral colours now as well. So we could have been bringing some of those in. I'll just come around the top of this flower, just give that a bit of a frame. And let's come in with that light metal pink. I'll come in again, this light grey granite. Let's blend that out a bit. Come all over here, it gives it a slight pinky tint underneath it anyway. She is, and then I've got some light smoky slate here that I think we'll add in to this sort of tummy section. Let's bring in, let's give her a nice dark polished pink flower. Beautiful. And then I've got some parakeet party here. And let's bring that down with a stem on that flower. And I think I'm going to come in with this, I think we'll go dark polished pink and just add a bit of colour to these. These nails. There we are. So we've got 2 hippos. If we look on the back of here, you can see how saturated that's become with the colour. We've got 2 hippos there. Now I'm actually going to grab, she says, hopefully, the amazing phrasing stamp set. So this is another of the Sale-a-Bration stamp sets, and I actually want woohoo, because who doesn't need a woohoo in their life? I've got another stamp set out there for a minute, but we're going to start with a woohoo. H block, I think. Actually, change of mind. Stamper artist. I want to make sure I get a good solid woohoo. So let's bring in our foam mat, because we are dealing with a photopolymer stamp set. Put that down there. Let's pick that up. We're not at this moment aiming to get it anywhere specific, so let's just put a magnet down. Order myself another magnet. I seem to have a magnet from Walkabout, so hopefully that will hold down there while we stamp this. Just a brand new photopolymer stamp set, so they do tend to be a little bit sticky. I'm going to ink up that Woohoo. Let's do that again. I do like the phrase woohoo. Woohoo! That's a nice solid black now. Just pop woohoo to one side. Then let's grab these dies, and we want this hippo and this hippo. I think I want some little hearts as well, but I think we will go, let's go polished pink, seeing that's the flower that we picked. Find my little bag of polished pink oddments. I have some polished pink hearts. And this we're going to cut out separately. Ooh, let me cut this off of here and cut these out, and then I shall get everything on my plate at the same time. So I'm just going to run these through the machine, die cutting machine. Oh, apologies. There are 2 hippos and 3 little hearts. Let's come in with our woohoo. Now, I'm trying to be careful because obviously we've made sure that we've inked this quite well, and it is warm, so sort of slightly damp fingers. Let's have a woo and a hoo. One word each. Right, okay. And grab my trimmer. I think we might go with one of those. Just going to cut this in half for now and in half again, just to give me a piece of basic white to play with. Let's take this die just here. I'm going to die cut this scalloped rectangle. There we go. To take a blue blending brush and some balmy blue ink, and then have a bit of a background on there. Now, just wondering what to have. Put some paper in the background. I think we need something sort of quite bright and fun. I'm thinking something from the Hues of Happiness paper. I don't think it wants to be that bright. Well, shall we go? Something like that might be quite fun. Let me shut the ink up on here so we don't end up where's my heart's gone? Just there. I don't want to lose my hearts. So I'm going to make this 12.9-ish, I think. So let me just flip that over for a minute so that I've got the top at the top there. I'm going to trim that off about there. Trim this off at the top there. That's it. It's starting to get a bit of a shape now. So 8.5 I think I need this to be. So 13.9 would be 9.5. So yeah, 12.9 would be 8.5. Giving us a bit of a flash of paper there. And we'll cut this one to 10. 14.4. Sort of crisscrossy pattern on there. I think, let's have a look. We're going to go for a card base. I think it wants to be something darker than that. Yeah, I think I'm quite tempted to go black. So I've taken my whole piece of A4 and I've cut it in half this way at 10.5 centimetres and then scored it at just under 14.9 this way. So, got bright paper. You've got cute little hippos. We've got a woo. And we're going to have one standing on a woo. And we're going to have one standing on a who. And I think because we have gone with black card, before we stick that together, let's put that just there. Find some white embossing powder and a little piece of black card. Will be perfect. I'll give that a bit of a, oh, I think I might just knocked my little paintbrush on the floor. That's frustrating. Oh, I can see it. Let's take some Versamark and let's grab the greeting. So we've had woohoo. So now let's grab 2U2. Can I find it? 2U2. So excellent for engagement, buying a new house together. It's just a young couple that have just bought a house. Yeah, well, anything. Congratulations on the news that you're expecting a new baby. Anniversary. All of those sorts of events. So we've stamped that. Let's grab some white embossing powder. Never know why I pick these hot days to do heat embossing, but there you go. Let's just get rid of some of these bits around and about because they will end up as embossed speckles otherwise. Let's grab our heat gun, heat that up. To you too, but not to you too as in to you as well, but to you two as in the pair of you. And have that coming on there as well somewhere. Right, let's look at putting this together. And just have to have another slurp of water. Heat embossing suit saw me off. I can be hot when it's 0 degrees outside, never alone when it's as warm as it is today. Okay. It's a shame to be gluing this paper, isn't it? Beautiful paper, this Hues of Happiness paper. That is the suite that we're going to be using for our stamp camp in a couple of weeks. So if you would like that suite, grab it in the next couple of weeks and then you'll automatically get added. So that suite plus a bolt of ribbon and you'll automatically get added into that stamp camp. Stick this on flat as well because I'm going to add dimensionals to this top bit. The edge bits, the end of one dimensional pack here. So I'll just add those to the back of that woo. Another bit to the back of the who. Let's have woo. And let's have who. And then we'll want some dimensionals on our rhinos as well. Some more edge bits off the last bit of a pack of sheet of dimensionals. There's our who. And there's our woo. We'll have that come underneath there. Let's add in these little hearts. We'll have one there. And, oh, apologies, one over here. One just here. How cute are they? Obviously that will need an insert in it, so I should do that before I bundle it all up. Let's add in a few little hearts or some strips of these papers as your decoration on your insert. But there's a cute little card for using those hippos for a little couple celebrating something that you want to give a woohoo shout out to. So let's see how quickly we can do a bit of watercolouring, shall we? Move that to one side now. Find what I'm looking for. One moment with some shimmery white card. Or actually, let's go watercolour card. So I'm going to cut this piece of watercolour card in half. Now it is about, I think it might tell me on the pad, 17.8 inches. So 9 is not far off. It's sort of actually 8.9, which is halfway across a sheet of watercolour card. So let's take that. I'll just rescue this hippo that's falling off the edge. Some watercolour brushes. One of my watercolour brushes seems to have gone a little bit astray. Never mind. Let's make do with what we've got. So I've got the big watercolour brush here, and I'm going to drop some water onto this piece of card. Just let's do a bit of a background. So I've added lots of water to that background piece. Now you've got two options when you're watercolouring. I'm taking this pad and I'm really squeezing quite hard. I've turned it over, really squeezing quite hard, and then I've got some ink in my lid, added a bit of water there, so now I've got some ink to lay down a bit of a watercolory wash in the back there. Now obviously that gives you quite a pale wash. Let's go and find my re-inker, hopefully. So here's my balmy blue ink re-inker. Fabulous, obviously, for re-inking your pads. I've just put a spot in there. I could have added a spot to a palette or whatever, but you can see you get a stronger colour there. So let's just put down that background and grab this other water brush. Add a bit of purple on it. Let me just see if that's colour that's coming out or whether it's just colour that stained the brush. There we go. Now I'm going to pick up some of this ink with this slightly smaller brush, and let's add in, we're making a watery effect, let's add some spots in the background there. We've got a nice spotty effect just there. I'm just going to put that to one side for a minute. That will soon dry up, that ink, but obviously as soon as I add water to it, it will reactivate, so none of that is going to waste. I think I'm going to have this little hippo, and we're going to have a bathtub, I think. So let's take this little hippo here. Take my other piece of watercolour card and some Stays On ink. So let's ink him up with our Stays On. Now, as it is so warm today, it's especially important that we get that lid on there as quick as possible. And let's stamp our hippo. There he is. Somewhere I've got some grey granite. I think that's what we will go with. Let us just clean up this brush. So I've actually just got a sort of bit of a tea towel here, old tea towel I hasten to add. Just squeezing that water through and rubbing the colour. I could have used my stamping scrub to do that. Right, so I've already got a bit of ink here in the lid of my grey granite. Could have done with a slightly smaller brush, but that's the one that's gone walkabout. I'm just using my brush to pick up my ink and paint my ink onto my little hippo here. Now, obviously, if you don't have water brushes, you can just use ordinary paint brushes in a pot of water. Of course, because the water painters do deliver water to the tip of the brush, you do sometimes find that you need to dry them off. Otherwise, you'll find it's very useful that the colour gets paler and paler, but you might need to go in then, just dry your brush off a little bit so that not too wet. Got some Blushing Bride here. Let's add in a bit of Blushing Bride, just like we did before, really, with markers. I'm going to add a little drop more water to this, just to water it down. Obviously, the more water there is, the paler the colour. So that will be a slightly paler colour. I'm going to come over the top of there and sort of blend those together, because the water will activate the ink that's already there. Again, just don't be don't be afraid to have a play. At the end of the day, if it all goes horribly, horribly wrong, it's a bit of card. And if you find that you've got too much colour somewhere and you need to take some out, all you need to do is just add water. Just add water and sort of blot and bleed it out a little bit. You can easily do that. A little bit of hair on there, come off. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have this sort of perfect straight lines. Watercolour isn't like that, really. I'm not a watercolourist. I keep thinking I might go along to some classes and things and learn a few more skills. That might be quite fun. Perhaps one day when I get the time. What do you think? So right, there we have our little hippo in grey granite. I'm going to die cut him. I'm also going to die cut a bath out of this watercolour card, and we'll add some colour to that in a minute too. That's the wrong hippo. Let's find the right hippo. And the other thing I think we'll have snorkel and goggles. What colour to go for snorkel and goggles? I think I might go Tahitian Tide. Let's cut ourselves a little bit Tahitian Tide off. We will do our goggles and our snorkel in Tahitian Tide. Right, took my eye off the ball a little bit with my hippo, so he's slightly not quite cut evenly. I'm not going to worry about that too much because he is going to be sitting in a bathtub, so we're not going to see his bottom part anyway. So let's just trim him up a little bit around his top half. There we go. So he's going to be sitting, apologies, as the that was my plates off of my cut and emboss falling to the ground. So let's come in with some smoky slate. Just going to come over all the top, and you can see the embossed detail on this die now, sort of die cut popping out as I go over the top. We do have two little bits in there. Look as if they need to poke out. That one and that one. So here he is with his goggles. And his snorkel. We need a few little splashes. Might do those in Tunisian tide as well. Just gather everything up off the floor. And put those dies just there. And some splashes. Now we have here, this is from the Tea Boutique paper. Got a bit of spotty Tahitian tide. So I think I'm going to come in this time with the hay, which is just here. Let's just transfer those to there. Let's find our again. Because we are stamping it onto watercolour card. And watercolour card, more importantly, that has been watercoloured. So I'm going to put that down there. I'm also going to make sure that I line that up beautifully so that if I do need to put it back where it was, I can see where it was. I'm going to put that hay on a bit of an angle. Let's pick that up. And as you can see, that wiggled. At least we know where it was. Let's come in with the stays on. And really ink that up. Sorry, you can't see that off camera. Let's put that down in there. And that's really going to stick. But hopefully, because we lined that up, the other thing we could have done is heat embossed it in black. That gives you quite a nice black as well. What do we think? Once more with feeling. Taking a little bit of the surface off just there, hopefully. Will work. Okay, so the other thing we can do, let's just bring in, talking about watercolour, let's just bring in a watercolour pencil. And add in a bit of extra shading. So make sure we put our lid on, that stays on. Use that to one side and clear all that up in a moment. Do the washing up when we've finished. Let's bring in our little, we are going to add another sentiment in a minute, but I'm going to put these in first. So here's our little hippo. Let's raise his little bathtub up with some dimensionals. Like that. Let's bring in, here we are in hindsight saying it would have been a good idea to have cut those out on double-sided sticky sheets. There's his goggles. Here's his snorkel. Put his hay on in a minute. So I'm going to take the "Or You're Really the Best," which is just here. I'm not going to use all of it though. Let's I think we'll stay with watercolor card. Use stays on, but I'm going to, this is a red rubber stamp, so let's hope. Excellent. Stays on does tend to make the photopolymer ones a little bit sticky. To respond a little bit better to the alcohol-y solvent based of the stays on ink, a bit more repellent. Right, I'm going to actually cut off. We'll go oh, but I'm actually going to cut it off. And I think we'll stick that. Is that big enough? I think it is. I'll match that up with a little bit of Tahitian tide. And we'll have that on some dimensionals as well. Let's just pop that bit. Let's finish up that sheet on the back of there. Let's decide where we want our splashes to go. Little spots of Tombow on the back of there. I'm going to just put a little spot in the top here for this one. Apologies, knocking you about. Let's look at this paper. How big is this? Going to make it 10. By 14.4. How cute is that? And for a bit of a pop, Let's have that in as well. Bring in some Tahitian tied thread. So I'm going to stick this one to this one. I'll come in with this. I want it to tie about there. So let's come in a couple of times around the bottom. We can fiddle with it in a minute. Come here. What have you done there, Helen? Goodness me, what a mess. Shall we try that once more with feeling? At this point, I'm only trying to secure it. That's better. Let's have these pieces. How to make hard work of something easy. Want that coming underneath there. Right. Stop faffing around, woman. Let's tie that. We'll tweak that in a minute. Just cut these end pieces off. Pull that a bit. And pull that a bit. Trim those down. Right, now we'll stick this to our card front. Look at all those lovely teapots on the back there. Must be time for a cup of tea. What do you think? A little bit more glue just under there to hold that down. Always with watercolour card, particularly if it has been sort of watercoloured. It has a tendency to be a little bit bendy. Obviously, again, we're going to need to add some an insert in there. But here I've got some fine sparkle adhesive gems. Look at these, sparkly, sparkly. I think we'll add a few of these in here too. Hey, you really are the best. So there we have 2 little hippo cards. So one, to celebrate this World Watercolour Month, has been watercoloured. We've had splatters in the background, watercolour background. We've watercoloured our hippo and our die-cut bath. And the other one has been coloured using our Stampin Blends. And we've had one that was predominantly grey and one that's a bit more browny tones. So 2 fun cards, and they've also both used the amazing phrasing, which is one of the stamp sets that you can get from Sale-a-Bration by placing a £90 order. And as you can see, really useful little stamp set. Oh, let's come back up. I apologise in advance. I think I'm going to be puce in the face and probably a little bit sweaty. So I do apologise for that. But I think I now need to go and lay down in a darkened room and cool off just a little bit. So they are really, really cute cards. So everybody have a great weekend. If you are feeling poorly, if you have got COVID, sending love out to you. There's quite a few of you in my world that are currently suffering like that. If you don't like the heat, find yourself somewhere nice and shady over the weekend. I'm going to be helping my daughter move house on Sunday. Yeah, not the best weather. I think the earlier we can get started, the better. But have a fabulous weekend. And don't forget to check out and order all of those goodies so that you can get your hands on those freebies. Always worth doing when Sale-a-Bration is up and running. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if either you need a catalogue or if you just want some advice or to, yeah, bend my ear about something stamping up. So have a lovely weekend, and I will be back and see you all on Monday.